Hey everyone, Cinephile Mike here, and to my new friends, welcome! And to my returning folks, welcome back to Oscar Rewind, my bi weekly series of videos where I revisit the films of this past year's Oscar nominees and winners' previous work. As always, I'll be discussing the awards history for the film, the box office information, the critical response, and as always, my reviews are spoiler free. Now, you can find older episodes of Oscar Rewind and previous Oscar season reviews here on the channel or on my website, cinephilemike.com. Today is day 49, and for the first time, I am recording since I have returned from covering the Edinburgh International Film Festival. Whew, what a blast that was! I saw 32 films in 9 days. Overload even for me. And I will be releasing a special edition video soon on the channel where I rank my top 5 films out of the 32. You can check out the print reviews for all of those films and other coverage on my website. But for today, we're here for Rewind. So, look, summer is starting to wind down. So, I've got two more summer themed set movies so we can all kind of go out on a more blissful note. Today, first up, I'm going to go a little heavier and head to Thailand as I discuss 20th Century Fox's The Beach. Written by John Hodge, based on the novel by Alex Garland, the film was directed by Danny Boyle and released in February of 2000. Now, February, as we know, especially for my fellow cinephiles, that's usually the month where we put the films we're not sure how they're going to do. Or maybe 20th Century Fox just said, you know what? It's winter. Let's give people something warm to take a look at. And financially, the film was a box office success. With a reported budget of $50 million, the film, well, it didn't do so well domestically. It only made $39,785,027, and almost half of that came from opening weekend alone before it trickled. Where it was successful was overseas. Internationally, the film made an additional $104,271,846 for a worldwide total of $144,056,873. So it almost tripled its initial investment. Critically, and this is reflective of the domestic box office, the film wasn't so well received. So, as per our usual source, Rotten Tomatoes, the film sits with a 21% critical rating based on 122 reviews, and the audience score, while higher, is still rotten, sitting at a 57%, culled from over 100,000 ratings. So, how does this film? The second time I have talked about a Danny Boyle film on Rewind. For those that have been with me, you might have remembered the 5 stars that Trainspotting got earlier this season. Why are we back to him? Well, it's not for him. Not that he's bad, but we are here for Mark Collier. Mark Collier, for those that may not know, he is a 5 time Oscar nominee and 3 time Oscar winner. And that third win came this past year for being part of the Oscar winning Best Makeup and Hair team for Poor Things. Having had a long career in hair, makeup, and prosthetics, Coulier served as the prosthetics designer for Poor Things, and almost 2.5 decades ago, he received his first prosthetics design credit on this Danny Boyle adventure drama. Now, as for the Beaches Awards season run, not quite a very impressive one. The film received 3 Teen Choice Award nominations, one for the film's lead, Leonardo DiCaprio, for Choice Actor, one for Choice Chemistry between DiCaprio and Virginie Ledoyen, and the film was nominated for Choice Drama. Boyle was nominated for the Golden Berlin Bear Award at the Berlin International Film Festival. The film's soundtrack was nominated as Best Soundtrack at the Brit Awards. And finally, Leo, while Teen Choice nominee for Best Actor, also saw the other end for this performance in The Beach. He wasn't Razzie nominated for Worst Actor that year, ultimately not taking the prize home, losing to John Travolta for Battlefield Earth. But, as we know, Rewind is not about the awards. We just like to cover them, but we also want to look at the films themselves. So let's jump into it. In The Beach, Leonardo DiCaprio plays Richard, a young American on a journey. A journey to what? Self discovery? a new life. We never quite sure. His journeys take him to Thailand, specifically Bangkok. And so this is where he goes. He checks into a hotel that is a little bit seedier than most people would desire. And shortly within arriving and setting down his bags with a tear and a shout, he meets Daffy, played by Boyle staple Robert Carlyle. Daffy tells Richard that there is a beautiful remote island off the coast of Thailand. He lived there for several years, but he had to leave. Now, almost immediately after this encounter, Daffy commits suicide, but not before leaving Richard a map to find the island. And instead of reading some of the warning signs from the conversation from Daffy, Richard figures, why not? And he invites two other guests that he met at this Bangkok hotel, Etienne, played by Guillaume Canet, and Francois, played by Virginie Ledoyen. Now, the reason for prompting them to come with is that Richard has started to take a liking to Francois. So, convincing them to join him on an adventure, off they go. And after some searching, they arrive on the island. Now, upon arriving on this beautiful island, they stumble across a cannabis field that is guarded by armed Thai farmers. Yikes, not exactly the paradise Daffy was talking about. But they're able to get away unscathed and escape to the other side of the island where they meet Kitty, played by Patterson Joseph, who takes them to the other side of the island where our trio meets Kitty's fellow island inhabitants, whose leader is the enigmatic Sal, played by Tilda Swinton. Sal explains that they live in peace with the farmers, provided they stay on their side of the island and do not make it known to other people. The Thai farmers do not want a lot of people coming to the island, so they keep it quiet. They rarely head to the mainland except for the occasional supply run. Otherwise, they live off the fish and the land that they have. And reluctantly, but truthfully, they do welcome these three new members to the community. And Richard Etienne and Francois do begin to ingratiate very well. And things are nice at first. But then, emotions begin to run rampant. Secrets begin to take their tolls. Earlier decisions come back to haunt. And sexual desire will definitely take hold of several of our characters. And as all of this happens, Richard begins to see his world get thrown into upheaval to several climaxes that have deadly repercussions for, well, some people. I'll leave the spoilers there, the summary there for want of spoilers. Here's the thing. The Beach is a very interesting film, and it is a unique concept. I mean, it's the self discovery story, right? Many young people in their early 20s feel lost and don't know what they're doing. And, at this point in 2000, we weren't really as much into the cell phone generation as we are now. So, it's understandable that this is kind of what he's going on. He makes some bad decisions along the way, but come on, when we were all that age, to a certain extent, we probably made some not so great choices ourselves. Um, DiCaprio in this role, not his finest work. This is a couple years post Titanic and the Basketball Diaries. We haven't quite hit the more peak Leo that we know from films like The Departed and The Revenant. This was kind of like that earlier phase. Um, so it's not great for him, and some of the other performances are a little wooden on the other end. They're either a little too extreme or a little too underplayed. And the only other thing with the film that isn't great is that the third act, I won't lie, as we're building, it has a nice build, but then we get a little muddled towards the end. But what is really watchable is once we get Tilda Swinton on screen, her Sal, this just gives her another chance to play that very stoic, does she like me? Is she going to kill me kind of character, which is something that she plays very well. And additionally, visually, this film is like landscape porn. I can't really think of a better way to describe it. The island where they filmed in Thailand is just so beautiful, and cinematographer Darius Kanji, like he fills the screen with these postcards. They're so gorgeous, which is an excellent juxtaposition to some of the more derelict, overcrowded views of Bangkok we see in the first 30 minutes of the film. And then once we get to this island, it's so beautiful that even though there's some disturbing content that we're going to see, uh, it's a little more palatable because of the setting. You can almost kind of like take a little bit of a breather. And to speak of Coulier's work on this film, because he's the reason why we're here, as the prosthetics designer, he does some very fine work. There's an aftermath of some, let's call them underwater escapades, adventures that some of our island folk have and interact with Mother Nature, and the after results. Oh, I won't lie, I shifted a little bit in my seat because the work was that nice. Now, for those that go and look up other views, if you haven't seen The Beach, you may see that a lot of critics were not really big fans of the film because they felt that it veered too much from the source material from Garland's book. I haven't read Garland's source material, the novel, I will admit, so I can't speak to that. I can only speak to the film. So taking the book out of it, this film is not that bad. And while the trailers sell it as a little bit more thriller-esque to get you in the seats, upon watching this film is more of a drama. In some ways, it's actually an interesting exploration into the cult mindset. As you know, we have this civilization that cuts himself off from the outside world, wants more of a simple, uncomplicated life. And there are instances where they may have to go to the mainland, or otherwise they'd prefer to have people come there, or they'd rather suffer in silence because they just don't want to, one, prompt the issues with the farmers on the other side. And also, this is their community. And Sal is quite a driving force in helping make those decisions. So, in all, for me, the film is good, but because of some of the performances and that muddled third act, this is a solid 3-star film for me. Almost four, but I want to be honest. You know, it's a 3-star film. It's a decent film. It's worth the watch. Maybe a little long, maybe a little disappointing at the end, but the build is quite nice. Visuals are gorgeous. Swinton is always worthy of a watch. And if you would like to take a stroll and catch the beach, as of this recording and posting, you can catch it now. It is streaming exclusively on Hulu. So there you have it. We are moving right along with Oscar Rewind, moving into the fall. We have about maybe 15, 18 more episodes before we get into award season 3. So that's going to be really exciting. Can you believe we're almost into award season again? If you like what you heard here, please subscribe to the channel and continue spreading the word. You can follow me on all social media platforms and Letterboxd. Also, don't forget to check out cinephilemike.com, my website, for all the great Edinburgh coverage and find out about all these great potential Oscar films that are going to be coming your way this fall. Happy watching, everyone. And until next time, this is Cinephile Mike saying take a break and watch something new.